Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom, sponsored by K-12 Sports Tech on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. I really recommend that you check them out. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our commercial shout outs, then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom segment, and then go and visit these sponsors, particularly the ones you're not already using. You're going to be glad you did. All right, here we go. We want to say thanks to K-12 Sports Tech for sponsoring Wednesday Wisdom. K-12 Sports Tech helps athletic directors and sports vendors connect through education and hands-on consulting services. Athletic directors are also invited to join the K-12 Sports Tech AD think tank and help influence how companies shape their tech to better serve schools. To find out more information or to join the think tank, just go to k12sportstech.com. That's it, k12sportstech.com. We want to thank our good friends at Gipper. You know, your students are on social media, and if they're not seeing content that celebrates their accomplishments and promotes your program, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Go to k12sportstech.com, go to gipper.com, and check out all the things that their platform can do for you. The team at Gipper is going to have you creating world-class content in seconds, whether it's a social media post or an entire newsletter to promote your program. And it's going to take seconds. It's so easy, even I can do it. That's gipper.com, gipper.com. We want to say thank you to Sideline Interactive and their indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast, sidelineinteractive.com. We'd like to thank Huddle for their support. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to thank our friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. Check out all their other platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. We'd like to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, rosters, results, communication. Their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is worth the cost. To find out more, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or to show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. It's also a great way to showcase your school's great history and talk about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast, vitalsignswalloffame.com. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And it was a great experience. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And while you're earning your master's degree, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. To find out more, just go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We want to thank our friends at Hometown Ticketing. Hometown's the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. And whether it's more support, more security, or more customization, the Hometown Ticketing team is here to help you make the best online ticketing solution. Mention the podcast when you visit hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We want to thank our friends at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Now, athletic directors already get feedback, but usually it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And having that data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent or maybe your principal or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Now, longtime listeners are going to recognize this name. Abby Kane is back with us. If you're new to the podcast, Abby's actually an undergraduate student, college student. She is an aspiring, sports professional, particularly maybe in the area of marketing. Also a college athlete. And today she's going to share some of the very cool experiences that she's put together. Some have been internships, some have just been, activities that she's generated on her own that are helping prepare her for that, let's say, that real job down the road. And these are some really cool experiences. So, first of all, Abby Kane, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Jake. I'm happy to be back. Happy to share some of my experiences since we last talked, and there's always something going on, so happy to talk about it.
Well, I'm just real briefly, I just want to share with our listeners. Like I said, Abby, she's a member of the Mercyhurst University women's soccer team. She is also the creative media and marketing coordinator in the athletic department. And her experiences so far, she's a senior, Mercyhurst, but she's already had experiences with the National Football League, with professional baseball, with the NCAA women's playoffs, and more. So, Abby, I'm going to let you choose to share some of the experiences, but how did all these occur, and what have been some of your takeaways from some of these experiences?
Yeah, of course. So I know on the last time we talked, we had talked about my ACL surgery and how I was coming back from it, finding the light and good in that experience. And we did end up coming back from it. And the first game back, I actually ended up tearing it all again. Same one, same time. And you really can never predict when that's going to be thrown at you, especially in a situation of non-contact, unlike the first injury. And really from that point, I had to realize that I had to really shift gears and figure out, oh, what am I going to do with this terrible situation? No athlete like seeing an injury like that happen so close together. So I was like, okay, I'm about to end my junior year of college. I got to kind of pivot and figure out what I can do in the next steps of my life. And I believe that's pretty much what I've been doing and what I'm currently doing and what I did over this past summer. So, um, once I had that injury occur, I did shift to being the creative media and marketing coordinator for our women's soccer team at Mercyhurst University, and help them transition into our first inaugural, the inaugural Division One season at Mercyhurst University. So that was pretty cool.
The role of the high school athletic director in, let's say, the last 10 years, maybe especially the last 5 years, it's no longer just scheduling games and buses and working with coaches and athletes. Marketing has become such a big part of it,
Mhm.
and promotion. What are some things that you have done in your role for media and marketing with the soccer team that
Mhm.
maybe you can pass on to some of our listeners that you found to be particularly helpful?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, being on the team, I have very close relationship with all the girls on the team, a lot of them my best friends and everything on campus. So we have a pretty large group. We have two rosters. It would be 48 girls. And the biggest thing right now is consumers love seeing the athletes as humans. So that's where I found a lot of success with our social media marketing in the fall. That's what pretty much my role was. I would do our Instagram and our X account, whether it would be live in-game updates or would just be keeping up with the team, getting to know the girls throughout the season, which we saw a big liking to. And with this, we were able to grow the account to at the end of the season to have 1.4 million views on the page. And that's only with 2,661 followers, which is a pretty big accomplishment for a small, just newly Division One school. And I think we just found most success just getting to know the girls, what's their favorite movie they're watching right now, or we had a fun video that was what non-Olympic sport would you win gold in? And it's stuff like that that people, even if they're not coming out to our soccer games, which we really hope this content pushes them to come to our games and to support our team, but they're starting to be like, oh, like they're real people. This is something I want to keep up with. I want to get to know them, maybe get to know them on campus even more. And it really just brings our whole Mercyhurst community together, which we did see a lot of. And we're trying to build that right now on all different teams on campus.
Um, Now you already mentioned, you were a member of the team, you were a college athlete, a Division One athlete, and now you're in this role promotion. Um, you were already as a student athlete, as a young person, you're already, tweeting and texting and I'm guessing TikToking and things like that. Um, how big of an impact has this social media component had from your perspective in helping promote awareness on campus and in the area for the soccer program? In other words, for that cranky old athletic director like me that's listening that might not be as, let's say, social media savvy, what's the payoff? What's the return on investment?
Oh, totally. It's huge. We've already seen it, at least from the college recruiting standpoint. Um, with my coaches that I've worked with, they've told me that recruits have reached out to them saying that they have been following our social media and that our social media presence makes them want to be a part of the team and wants them to be a part of our program. So you already see that by having that great image online and putting that time and effort to take those photos, take those videos, and really reflect all the good that's happening in the program. You're seeing people want to be a part of it. You want to come out to games. You want to sign your name the next 4 years and play at Mercyhurst. And I think that's pretty cool. And Jake, I see on the screen behind you, you have Gipper there. We actually do use that in Mercyhurst Athletics, whether it be, I use it primarily for our birthday posts on our women's soccer page and some other quick graphics we do. And it's been really helpful this season. It's been really fun to show the girls just, their birthdays and get to know them a little more.
Oh, well, I appreciate you sharing that. And the tagline that I use when I'm giving Gipper a commercial, which I guess I am right now, I say it's so easy, even I can do it. Okay, from your perspective as a marketing and media expert, how easy is the Gipper platform to work with?
Oh, it's so simple. You have your brand colors already in there. All you have to do is switch which logo for which team you want to use, and then you switch the photo, and it's super easy, super simple, super seamless.
All right, I'm going to pass this on to my friends at Gipper. Who knows? Maybe they'll reach out and maybe they'll sponsor Mercyhurst women's soccer. Um, Abby, I want you to share, if you can, your experience with the National Football League, particularly, with the Buffalo Bills. How did that happen, And what were some of your takeaways from that experience?
Yeah, that was the best experience, best 3 weeks ever. As I mentioned in the podcast before, I am a Buffalo, New York native, so grew up there, born and raised, and Bills is kind of injected in your blood right when you step out of the womb. So it's been really cool to see it now on the staffing side, stepping away from being a fan and taking it a different route. But it's actually awesome. Our one of our Mercyhurst alum, her name's Megan Hess. She's the youth marketing coordinator at the Buffalo Bills. And I was met up with her just to chat, learn a little bit more about her job. And then it kind of funneled into talking about training camp over the summer. And I was able to keep in touch with her and then was able to land an interview with the vet and experience team. And then kind of just happened from there. Meg's so awesome, still close with her. She helped me out with a women's panel last week, highlighting some women changing the sports industry. But really, those 3 weeks at the Buffalo Bills were just incredible.
Now, you also had an experience with professional baseball. Did
Mhm.
you see any similarities between, successful organizations? Hey, this team does the same thing, or was it completely different?
They're definitely a little different, but still obviously at the root of the Buffalo Bisons and the Buffalo Bills, they want the fans to have the best experience and to create that fan loyalty. So when I was with the Bills, I was more focused on the friends and family hospitality tent during the time at training camp. So making sure they were taken care of whenever they would step on campus for camp and just making sure the area was public perfect and just keeping all clean for them, making sure they were having a good time. Whereas at the Bisons, I was doing in-game promotions. So we'd get there and we would pick out fans to do our different fun in-game promotions, whether it was a kid racing our mascot, Buster, or something along those lines. And there, that was really high energy, really fun. That was more of a, I would say, I was entertaining fans the whole time, whereas the training camp, I was more so getting to know a closer relationship with all the members in my tent throughout training camp since they were pretty much the same throughout the time there. And then Bisons, you never know who you were going to get on a different day. And you just had to make sure they had the best day ever. So it was an awesome job, both of them.
Wow, very jealous. Those are very cool experiences. You mentioned earlier that you this was a year ago. You made that decision. I'm no longer going to be an athlete. I like to joke that injuries and then lack of talent kept me out of the NFL. But you were looking at that. Okay, well, what am I going to do next? Maybe not for the rest of my life, but what's going to be that post-college career? Um, any possibilities out there? Anything you're exploring, or should we just introduce the listening world to Abby Kane and give them your contact information? And if you are looking for that next great employee, I think you should give Abby a call.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, right now, I really can't thank Mercyhurst University enough, and specifically Dr. John Parente for providing me with so much for where I am today, because it has made the next step decision incredibly hard. You would think with a lot of experiences, you'd be able to pick out, pick and choose things that you like a lot. And I do find that entertaining the fan and making sure they have the best time and really making those meaningful connections with people is something I'm very passionate about. But also I have different passions with, graphic design or photography and stuff like that. So, um, I just really can't thank the program enough for preparing me to one, I could go out and go in the field and start my career in a few months and just hit the ground running. But I also am passionate about pursuing a graduate degree. So looking at schools that will have a great MBA and sports administration programs is what I'm looking at right now too. So just being fortunate enough to have all those opportunities in front of me and so much positive experiences to get me to this point. But also makes the decision a little bit harder, a little more to sort through in the next months and what I had been working through. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, it's got to be an exciting time for you.
Mhm.
Um, for our listeners, Abby Kane, Abigail Kane, she's on LinkedIn, and I encourage you to maybe add her to your network. A great resource, and maybe who knows, you can exchange some tips for each other. Abby, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out just to pick your brain a little bit, or to say, hey, we'd like you to come in for an interview, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
I think it's best LinkedIn. I mean, Jake, you just said it. It's Abigail Kane on LinkedIn, and I'm really active on there. So if you send me a message on over there, I'll be sure to get it. And on that page too has other contact information that you can reach me at.
Well, Abby, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. All the best as you, dive deeper into that senior year experience. And we're definitely going to have to get you back on for an update to see how you're doing this spring.
Yeah. Yeah.
For,
Thanks so much, Jake, for having me. It's been great talking to you.
oh, no, absolutely. Hey, for our listeners, just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Um, we appreciate you listening. We do this segment every week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices. So come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Well, before we go, we want to, of course, thank all of our sponsors, including K-12 Sports Tech, who sponsor all of our Wednesday Wisdom segments. We want to thank our other great sponsors, Huddle, Snap, Raise, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration, Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, Hometown Ticketing, Sideline Interactive, Gipper, and Home Campus. Make sure you visit these sponsors, and we'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again.